So today we're going to talk about the Bluedriver. It's on Amazon. It's 10% off right now, so you can get it for 90 bucks. Let's get to it though. You open up the tool. The startup time is pretty average. I had already started because this is going to be a pretty long video, so just bear with me a little bit. Of course, we have our scan tool feature, and it has three settings, right? You just checking the check engine light, which is fast. It's a crooked line, or fastest, I'm sorry. Then you have fast for the common dash lights and comprehensive, whatever speed that is. It's a thing. Right now we're gonna do a common dash light. Whoops. Just to kind of give you an idea how fast it is. And this is actually pretty fast. On my Impala, it was taking forever to do this, and the video would have been that much longer. A side note, this particular sensor I got as a gift. At the time when I got it, I only had my other OBD2 sensor. I was happy with it, but I did need something with ABS capabilities. I showed this to somebody, and they were generous enough to get it for me for Christmas. So I was just kind of showing them like, hey dude, this would be kind of cool. I could do ABS. And like I said, they were pretty cool and they got it for me for Christmas. So that was pretty kind of them. But overall, the app and the sensor are pretty solid. There's some things that kind of tip me off on it, but we'll get to those. No codes found. It's a Chevy. It's rock solid. If there would have been some codes, it would have given you different options. I'm gonna go here to save reports, and this is pretty cool. This is my failed attempts at my video just with the Traverse. That 2000 Chevy is the Impala. I actually had more, but not gonna get into that. So I'm gonna go to the Silverado, and let's say that I had scanned that Silverado, and now it tells me all this information. This was just a simple check engine light, and so I go to P0446. It tells me it's pretty common and 7 possible causes, top 3 reported fixes, and 16 frequently reported fixes. If it's a rare thing, sometimes it'll only give you one option for everything. The top 3 reported fixes, it gives you a link to Amazon so you can go buy the part. Problem is, sometimes it's not the right part. As you can see here, it's giving me 3 different options. Yes, these are all Chevy. However, sometimes it will give me an option for a totally different make and model of a vehicle. So just be aware of that. This is more of a guideline to just kind of go and check out what's wrong with them. It ended up being the canister in this instance, so that would have been right, but it was the, I believe, round one. So again, it would have been, well, that's the sponsored one. Those are the sponsored ones, so they come up first. But if you go to the non-sponsored ones, it takes you a minute to get to the right one. Scroll, if you will. So that's pretty cool that it does give you that. Also that it saves all your cars that you have scanned, because sometimes I'll go and fix somebody's car and they just need the car to run for that moment, and then they'll come back and say, hey, I need the other stuff fixed, and I'll go into the log, look up their car, and say, oh man, it was something simple, so I don't need my whole tool set, especially when I'm traveling. I don't have to take everything with me. Clear codes, it's pretty cool if you're working on a car that the check engine light keeps turning on as soon as you turn on the key. If you go fix it, you clear the code and you start driving and it doesn't turn on, you're pretty much in the clear, right? Do not use it to be a jerk. Trying to sell a car, and you turn off the check engine light and you're just trying to throw it on somebody else. That's their problem. Don't do that. Come on. Little honesty. Smog check. If you're being the person that's buying the car, this is really good to have. If they had just reset the check engine light, it'll show right here things that need to be, the car needs to be run a little bit longer. So that's pretty cool to have. If you don't have something like this, or if you don't know how to use it, hire somebody, pay them $40, to go and do it, pay them $30. Tell them you buy them lunch. If they agree to that, great. Vehicle info, vehicle specifications. This is pretty cool for this right here. It tells me it's an LS. Of course, on this particular car, you can tell that it is an LS. But on some Hondas I've worked at, when I go get the part, they're like, whoa, what is it? A DX, EX, LX? I don't know, man. Especially when it's not your car, you don't know. So it's kind of cool to have that. Your 10,000 mile interval stuff you need to do every, inspect. Brake system, inspect. Oil filter, replace. So that's pretty cool. Inspect. Potential recalls and bulletins. As much as I like Chevy, and I've said they're pretty good cars, they do have quirks and recalls all the time. Hondas do too, but you don't hear them very often because people tend to be quiet about those guys, but they have quite a few recalls too. Check engine light status. You can check how long the car's been running. I've had this car running for an hour and a half. That's how long I've been trying to make this video, and I just gave in and said this is going to be a long video. Freeze frame, it's there. I don't use it. People swear by it. Great. Mode 6, I don't use it either. Again, people swear by this and they say, oh, you can find almost every problem with it. I've figured out my cars without it pretty well, so. And that's another problem. It takes a minute to get going. Service, it's kind of silly stuff. Of course, if you're totally green to this kind of helps out. The standard procedure works on my Impala. This second driver information center, of course, it's for my Chevy, but it's pretty generic. Again, mostly guidelines. Same thing with the tire pressure. So that's it for the first screen. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty standard stuff too. I can't think of anything there. Even the most common problems with it, most of the time apps have a link so you can go to Google right away and it'll search for that particular thing. If anything, you have Google at the fingertips. You ask it, hey Google, for this Honda Civic, why is it giving me this code? And it'll tell you, oh, well, most of the time it's that problem or this problem. I will praise this app for this screen. It's very clean. I like it. It's your live data, however you want to say it. You want to always go to the supporter. You can go to the all and have them all turned on. Have your favorite settings on there. The only problem is if you try turning something else, it'll give you, hey, you should only use 5. You can use more, but you should only use 5. So there's that. But it works great. I love the display, how it's all set up. I will give them that props for that. Now, right here, we're gonna have the user manual. If you really want to know how to use it, they have it, reading codes, repairing reports, all that good stuff. Live data, freeze frame, mode 6. If you don't know how to use them and you want to use them, great. Update sensor. There are software sensors. They are very good about that too. They're very, very good about software updates. Or maybe I just don't use this app because I always use the cheaper one more than this one. So there might not be as great as I think they are, but I think they're pretty good on that. Settings, of course, pretty simple stuff. Order sensor. If you accidentally downloaded the app and you want to download it through here, if you don't want to go take advantage of that $10 off of Amazon, you can probably order it off of here. Review and rate, of course. Contact us. I kind of saved this for last because they're very, very good at getting back to you. If you do, especially if you have a complaint, I will say that they got back to me pretty quick. Now, I don't want to make this video a lot longer than it is. It's already at 10 minutes. I did have a problem with it connecting with this particular button right up here. Now, On this screen, it's still there. It has a little flashlight. I wanted to highlight the little flashlight. It's pretty cool. Nothing totally groundbreaking, but it is kind of cool to have there. Now, going back to the connection, the reason why I'm doing it on this vehicle, I had this vehicle available to me. It's newer than my Impala, so I'm doing it. With the connection, the Impala had a hard time. It would say, oh, this vehicle doesn't support, it kind of blames the vehicle, support this feature of vehicle information. Well, guess what? It does support it. It just takes a minute to get there. I don't know why it does it. It's not like, I know it's an older car, but it's not like it's an off-brand like a Daewoo, or even though it's owned by Chevy, I can understand if it was a Daewoo or some other car like that. So I know sometimes they'll say, oh, it's not compatible with all brands, but it's a Chevy. It should be able to read the computer. But for some reason, it has a hard time connecting. That's caused me some problems. I fixed the car one time. I called the owner to come pick up the car. When I was test driving the car, making sure everything was running smooth, I was going back home, started stuttering. The damn app wouldn't connect to the sensor. I spent 10 minutes there. I was sweating bullets. I went inside. I had lost my other sensor, and that's why I hadn't used it. I found it, and I connected it. It said, yeah, hey, it's cylinder 5 that's wrong. I went and connected the plug for the fuel injector, and it worked. All that stress could have been avoided had this worked like it should have. Now, of course, everybody makes mistakes. Things fail. They almost smell fear because they fail when you need them to fail the least. However, for 4 times as much, and I had to still use my other sensor. Overall, for this app, it's a good app, but I just wouldn't spend the money on it. If I was going to spend $100 for the ABS, SRS, and all that stuff, I might as well spend an extra 100 or another $50 and get a handheld one that does the same thing. I'm still going to use Google on my phone, so it's not like it has anything innovative on this particular app. But if you're looking for a budget thing, this is definitely a pretty good way to go. Again, it was a gift, so I'm not even mad. It's been a good app for me. It's been solid. But again, if you're looking if you're kind of on the fence, I would say go ahead and spend the extra money. If you're like, hey, look, man, I don't need to spend that much money. I just need something that works with my ABS. Then it's a good option too. But because I'm not in the fence about it, I would say no. I will not get this app again. Remember, I'm a small channel. Bluedriver definitely doesn't sponsor me. So this is a genuine 100% opinion on this particular app. My goal right now is I'm saving up to buy one of those two-way sensors that's a handheld, because they're the only ones that really work with that. That has the SRS and all that stuff, because that way I can turn on fans and be like, oh, it's not turning on high. Something's wrong when the fan turns on high, instead of me sitting there waiting in the summer heat for the car to warm up and kick in the fans and be like, oh, it's not turning on that particular thing. So that might be something you might be interested in. I've seen a few for $250, $300, upwards $400. Of course, they only get more expensive. But overall, if you're trying to stay within budget, definitely a good app to get. If you have a little bit more wiggle room, I definitely pass on this and get something else. As always, hopefully this helps you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. If you want to hit like, go for it. Again, I never ask you to, but it kind of does feel nice. I've noticed that. It kind of feels nice when people do, but if you don't, go for it. If you want to hit dislike, go for it too, because you obviously didn't like my video. Overall, have a great day. Take care. Be safe. And we'll see you next time.